Libra, my beloved seeker of balance, you are not watching this video by accident. Something is about to happen that will leave you breathless, not from fear, but from divine surprise. Big money is coming your way. And not just money, but restoration, reward, and redirection. What you lost will return multiplied, and what you never expected is already on its way to you. Let me be clear from the very beginning, your wallet is about to overflow, and karma is already at work in the background. Whether it's money that was stolen from you, an opportunity denied, or the emotional cost of betrayal, this is the moment the universe rebalances your sacred scales. You've been quiet for too long, Libra. You've played fair even when others didn't. And now, you're being rewarded not because you shouted but because you stayed true to your spirit. Can you feel it? That subtle tug in your soul that something is shifting? That restless energy that's been whispering, prepare. This message is your confirmation. This is your spiritual green light. This is your cosmic yes. As you listen to this reading today, I invite you to go beyond curiosity. Step into presence. Let your heart be open, your intuition alert, and your spirit soft enough to receive. What's coming isn't just a financial surprise, it's a soul-level realignment. You may be called to a new city, a new relationship, a mysterious invitation that seems random but is secretly sacred. And when it don't second guess. Because that one decision may open the door to love, wealth, or a miracle your ancestors prayed for. Sometimes, divine compensation doesn't come wrapped in logic. It comes in timing. It comes in surrender. And most of all, it comes when you stop chasing and start trusting. So Libra, I want to ask you something. What if today is the day you stop doubting that you're worthy of everything you once thought was too good to be true? Take a breath. Really breathe that in. You are worthy of abundance. You are worthy of love without confusion. You are worthy of a life that doesn't exhaust you just to maintain it. And yes, you are worthy of a financial breakthrough so big, your old identity won't even know how to handle it. Now, if anything I've said resonates deep within you, if you feel a sacred nudge in your chest or chills on your arms, I want you to type this in the comments right now. I claim this shift. I align with abundance. I accept the miracle. Your words are powerful. And when you speak them out loud or type them into the ether, you send a clear signal to the universe, I'm ready. And before we dive into the cards and decode the secrets lining up in your energy field, allow me to thank you from the deepest part of my heart. Every like, every comment, every share, every subscription, it's not just support. It's a bond. You are part of something sacred here at Zodiac Whisper Tarot. A growing spiritual family, woven together by prophecy, faith, and purpose. And trust me, Libra, you'll want to stay with me until the final minute of this reading. Because what the universe is about to reveal is nothing short of spectacular. Let's begin. There are certain moments in life when we feel as though something we deeply hoped for has slipped right through our fingers. A dream denied, a relationship lost, a door that once stood wide open and now seems sealed shut. And yet, in the space between the letting go and the letting in, something far greater is being written, something cosmic, precise, and ultimately redemptive. That is the energy we're entering now, Libra. And while it may feel new, its roots stretch deep into promises your soul made long before this lifetime. What you are experiencing is not random. The astrology confirms it. As Jupiter shifts into an air sign, there is an expansive release of blocked abundance and missed timing, especially for those who have walked the path of quiet endurance. This planetary movement breathes life back into forgotten contracts. These are not the contracts made on paper, but those signed in spirit. The ones you agreed to when you said, "I will come to this world and walk with grace, no matter the hardship." The universe has not forgotten its side of that agreement. It never does. Tarot echoes this sacred memory. The Five of Pentacles speaks of emotional and financial drought. Of being shut out, left waiting. The Tower reminds us that life sometimes dismantles our foundations not to punish us, but to expose what was never meant to last. And then, from the ashes of it all, the star rises. A symbol of healing, hope, and divine timing. Together, these cards tell the story of someone who was never truly abandoned, only being prepared for a return far greater than what was lost. You see, this isn't about luck. It's about justice. Energetic justice. Spiritual symmetry. You don't need to scream to be heard by the heavens. Every silent tear you cried, every moment you sacrificed for peace, every time you chose light when darkness was easier, was seen. And now, the balance must be restored. Not because you asked for it, but because it is owed to you. What's most beautiful, Libra, is that you don't have to chase this restoration. You don't even have to beg for it. The universe keeps a record of all things invisible. Even the kindnesses you offered that were never acknowledged. Even the losses you absorbed without protest. The reward is already written. All that's needed is your willingness to receive it. That begins with one simple, yet powerful act: forgiveness. Not the kind you offer others, but the kind you extend to yourself. Forgiveness for trusting people who didn't deserve it. Forgiveness for staying too long in places your soul had already left. Forgiveness for not knowing then what you so clearly see now. This act of internal grace isn't weakness, it's the unlock code. It's what clears the static between your spirit and your abundance. It's the way your heart says to the universe, "I'm ready now. You can come in." There's something profoundly biblical in this too, if you pause to feel it. In Scripture, there are countless examples of people who were delayed, denied, even cast aside, only to be restored in ways they never imagined. Restoration, in divine terms, is rarely instant. But it is always precise. Always complete. Think of it this way: maybe you were being protected. Maybe that delay was mercy, not rejection. Maybe what's coming to you now required that pause so that it could arrive fully formed, not half-baked. And maybe, just maybe, the moment you're in right now is not the aftermath of loss, but the prelude to overflow. So as you reflect on this moment in your life, Libra, don't ask what you missed. Ask what's returning. Don't count what fell apart, count what's being rebuilt. Because what's coming next has your name on it. And it was never truly gone. It was simply waiting for you to remember your worth. There are times in life when you stop chasing and suddenly, what you've been looking for starts chasing you. This is the essence of what's unfolding for you now, Libra. Not because you're manipulating outcomes or forcing results, but because you've quietly shifted your inner posture from desperation to alignment. That shift alone has opened a new door. And through that door, abundance is quietly making its way to you on its own terms, in its own timing, and with more power than you may realize. The cards are clear: Ace of Pentacles, Wheel of Fortune, Nine of Pentacles. These are not casual symbols, theory anchors of a breakthrough that is both material and internal. The Ace of Pentacles speaks to the beginning of a tangible gift. It could arrive in the form of a surprising opportunity, a financial windfall, or even something simple that grows over time. But this ace is not handed to just anyone. It shows up for those who are ready to receive, not just in theory, but in practice. The Wheel of Fortune, turning as it always does, reminds us that timing belongs to the greater order. You weren't skipped. You weren't forgotten. The wheel simply needed to line up exactly right. And now it has. And the Nine of Pentacles, that card is a celebration. It marks self-sufficiency, personal reward, and the pleasure that comes from effort, patience, and soul-level maturity. Still, what matters now isn't whether the reward is coming. It's whether you're ready to hold it. Are you prepared for your wallet literally or metaphorically to overflow? Because receiving abundance doesn't only require open hands. It requires grounded feet and a clear heart. So let's talk honestly about money, not just spiritually, but practically. You may be receiving a payout, a settlement, a long-delayed inheritance, or a business opportunity that comes to find you. But if you're not intentional with what comes in, it will come and go like a gust of wind. I often encourage my community to practice what I call the Trinity of Trust when it comes to money: save, invest, and give. Saving is about honoring your future self. Investing is about believing in the growth of what you already have. And giving, yes, Givinji is about staying in the flow, remembering that wealth isn't meant to be hoarded. It's meant to circulate. When you build these three into your lifestyle, not just your bank account, you become a safe home for prosperity. But abundance is not only about numbers. Sometimes the reward is emotional security after years of instability. Sometimes it's having your time finally respected. Or discovering that your worth no longer needs to be proven. These are also forms of wealth. And they deserve to be counted too. There's also something deeply real about receiving something you never had to chase. When opportunities come to you not because you screamed, not because you begged, but because your energy called it in, there's a peace that settles in your body. A knowing. A breath of relief. I think of those moments in life when people say, "I don't know how, but everything just started working out." Often, it's not magic. It's that they finally let go of resistance. They began to allow instead of demand. If you've been feeling like you're on the edge of something good, something big, this is your confirmation. And the timing could not be more divinely designed. You've cleared space. You've waited well. You've chosen grace over bitterness. And now, Libra, the reward is ready to meet you. Just as Scripture reminds us that we are not to grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest. This is your proper time. Keep your heart soft. Keep your hands open. The rain is coming. And with it, everything that was withheld is about to pour down in ways that overflow, not just your wallet but your life. Sometimes, what feels like a simple moment, a text message, a casual invitation, an unexpected encounter can be the doorway into a completely different version of your life. This part of your journey, Libra, is about connection. Not just emotional connection, but energetic alignment. A merging of paths that was orchestrated long before you even knew you were seeking it. And now, as the energy around you becomes more fertile and more magnetic, a sacred meeting is on the horizon. One that has the potential to transform not only how you love, but how you live. The cards guiding this message: Two of Cups, Ten of Pentacles, and the Empress are a trinity of emotional depth, lasting abundance, and divine feminine energy. Together, they speak of a connection that is not only romantic but stabilizing. A relationship that does not drain, but expands. A person who enters not to challenge your peace, but to multiply your joy. You may already feel the pull. Maybe you've sensed that someone is entering your life soon. Maybe you've had dreams, intuitive nudges, or even just a sudden softness in your heart. That's no coincidence. It's energetic preparation. It's your soul making room for what's been promised to it. This person may not arrive with fireworks. In fact, they may arrive quietly disguised as a friend, a colleague, or a stranger you meet during something you almost said no to. A party you didn't plan on attending. A trip you weren't sure you had time for. An invite that felt too last minute to accept. But here's the thing about destiny: it doesn't shout. It whispers. And when it knocks, you'll often be tempted to stay home. Don't. Show up for your own unfolding. Because the person on the other side of that door might not just bring love, they might bring a new home, a new dream, a new life. Still, let's be honest. Letting someone in really in is not always easy, especially if you've been hurt before. If you've built walls made of logic and independence. If you've learned to be strong alone. But Libra, strength is not the absence of vulnerability. Strength is the courage to let love in again, even when your heart remembers the ache. Not everyone is here to hurt you. Some people arrive just to love you, just to choose you, just to remind you that your softness is safe. But they can only do that if you're willing to open the door. This is where self-help meets soul work. One of the most powerful things you can do right now is get clear. What do you want in a partner? Not in theory, but in truth. Write it down. Describe how you want to feel, not just what you want them to be. Do you want stability? Playfulness? Creative support? Spiritual connection? When you define it clearly, your energy becomes a magnet for that frequency. This is law of attraction at its purest. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you're in alignment with. Sometimes, life answers your prayers through people. I've seen it happen in the most unexpected ways. A client once told me she accepted a spontaneous invite to a charity dinner out of politeness only to meet the person who would become her husband, business partner, and the father of her children. She almost didn't go. And now she says, that one yes gave me a life I didn't even know how to ask for. This isn't about rushing to find love. It's about being available to receive it. Love that uplifts. Love that supports. Love that changes your financial and emotional reality, not because it has to, but because it naturally does. You deserve a connection that feels like home, not because it's familiar, but because it's finally safe. So when the invitation arrives, say yes. Even if you're unsure. Even if you're scared. Because what's on the other side may just be the next chapter of your becoming. And you're ready. You always have been. What if justice doesn't need your intervention to be fulfilled? What if letting go is not a surrender of power, but the most powerful thing you could possibly do. Libra, this moment in your journey is not about confrontation, it's about alignment. And when alignment is your priority, karma does the work, you don't have to. The energy around you now is preparing to close a karmic cycle with someone who once used your light against you. Someone who saw your softness and mistook it for weakness. Someone who, through charm or control, disrupted your peace and maybe even took something from you, your time, your energy, your trust, or something tangible you never thought you'd get back. But the truth is, you've already done the hardest part. You didn't retaliate. You didn't seek revenge. You chose healing over hatred, and that choice carries a vibration the universe responds to faster than any punishment could. You may not have seen the fallout yet, but it's coming, and not because you wished it upon them. It's coming because energetic balance is a universal law. When someone takes from you without right, it creates a deficit that must be reconciled. And the beauty of your position is that you don't have to move a finger for it to unfold. One of the most important things I've learned as both a guide and a human is that peace isn't passive. It's fiercely intentional. It takes strength to walk away when you could stay and argue. It takes vision to invest in your future instead of avenging your past. But the payoff of choosing peace is that you free yourself from entanglement. You step out of their web and into your own timelinear timeline that flows forward instead of looping in cycles. This is especially relevant for you now, Libra, because karmic release requires emotional maturity. And you've been cultivating that, whether you realize it or not. Every deep breath you've taken when you wanted to react. Every moment you paused before saying something you'd regret. Every time you cried instead of clapping back. Those weren't weaknesses. Those were spiritual reps, and now you're stronger than you've ever been, not because you fought harder, but because you healed deeper. I once worked with a woman who was betrayed by someone she loved and trusted deeply, a family member who manipulated her and took advantage of her vulnerability. For years, she tried to understand it, to make sense of the why. But eventually, she released the need to know. She stopped trying to control the outcome and chose, instead, to rebuild herself. 3 years later, in a twist she never expected, she was gifted a property from a distant relative completely unprompted, and valued at more than triple what had been taken from her. She didn't chase it. She didn't plan it. She simply made room for something better, and it arrived. That's the energy you're stepping into now. Not retribution. Restoration. And that's a crucial difference. You don't need to hope someone else pays. You need to trust that your light can't be dimmed by someone else's shadows. Write a new ending, not by changing the past, but by choosing differently in the present. Maybe that looks like breathing before reacting. Maybe it's choosing silence over explanation. Maybe it's as simple as allowing yourself to be happy, even if they never apologize. Justice is never yours to enforce. But peace? Peace is yours to protect. Keep doing the work. Keep turning inward. Keep honoring the truth that lives in your body even when the facts outside it feel unfair. You are not forgotten. You are not being bypassed. You are being prepared for a divine reversal, one that can only happen when your hands are open and your heart is free. And that freedom, it's the beginning of everything. You've made it through the waiting. You've survived the uncertainty, the inner work, the letting go. And now, Libra, something new is calling you forward, not just softly, but with clarity and force. The energy surrounding you is no longer preparing you. It's opening a door. A big, bold, golden door labeled, now. Not later, not next week, not when you feel more ready. The cards that support this moment, the Fool, Ace of Wands, and the Sun, are not whispers. They are announcements. They say, this is it. This is the chapter you've been writing from the background of your life. And the only thing left to do is step in. The Fool asks you to trust. To leap, not recklessly, but willingly. It's a reset, yes, but it's also a reminder, you've been carrying more wisdom than you realize. The Ace of Wands is your spark, the idea you pushed aside, the creative urge you've been ignoring, the opportunity you've quietly hoped would circle back. And then, the Sun. That's your confirmation. The joy, the clarity, the full-bodied yes that tells you, you are no longer in the tunnel. You are standing in the light. All that's required now is movement. Sometimes, the most life-altering changes begin with the smallest yes. Saying yes to sending that message. Signing up for that course. Filming your first video. Taking that morning walk you keep putting off. Energy is activated by action. The law of attraction isn't about sitting still and waiting. It's about aligning your behavior with your desires, matching your external with your internal. If you've been feeling stagnant in work or creativity, this is your invitation to disrupt that pattern. Try something new, even if it feels small. Curiosity often opens more doors than strategy. From a self-help perspective, this is the perfect time to invest in your mental and emotional energy banks. Small practices can shift your entire vibration. Magnesium-rich foods to soothe your nervous system, B vitamins for steady energy, and 10 minutes of deep breathing or brainwave music to reset your clarity. Your outer reality reflects your inner frequency. Nourish that frequency like it matters, because it does. In this season, color can also be your companion. Gold invites prosperity and courage. Emerald green enhances harmony and intuitive power. Lavender calms the heart and allows space for unexpected joy. Wear them. Visualize them. Surround yourself with these tones when you make bold choices. They are subtle signals to your subconscious that you are ready to receive. I've watched people transform their lives through the tiniest windows of courage. One woman I worked with sat on a business idea for years. She thought it was too late, too risky, too saturated. But one day, something inside her said, now or never. She started with a single social media post. That post went viral. Within a month, she had paying clients. Within a year, she'd left her draining job and built a brand based on her own timing, her own truth. All it took was one yes in the right day. Today might be that day for you. This isn't about rushing or comparing yourself to anyone else's timeline. It's about being honest. Is there a dream you've been postponing? An idea that won't leave you alone? A vision that lights you up and terrifies you at the same time? If so, that's the one. That's the path. That's your Fool moment. You don't need to know every step. You just need to trust the one right in front of you. The energy is ripe, the universe is responsive, and you are more than ready. So take the first step. Write the email. Start the project. Make the call. The path will reveal itself as you walk it. And when you do, the light you've been waiting for won't just shine on you, it will rise from within you. Libra, if you've made it here with me breathing in every word, sensing every shift in your energy field, then you already know something sacred is unfolding. This moment isn't just a pause. It's a turning point. You have walked through so many quiet storms, survived the weight of being misunderstood, and held on to grace when you could have let go. But now the light is not only finding you, it's beginning to rise from within you. And for perhaps the first time in a long time, you're no longer asking, will it happen for me? You're remembering that it already is. You see, destiny isn't something that happens to you. It's something you co-create with every thought, every choice, every belief. And this reading wasn't about predicting your future, it was about activating it. Because the truth is, your soul already knows what comes next. It's your mind that sometimes needs to catch up. So ask yourself now, with honesty and love, am I ready to step into a version of my life that no longer revolves around surviving but around receiving? Around being seen, being supported, being financially, emotionally, and spiritually fulfilled? You are not a bystander in your own story. You are not at the mercy of fate. You are, and have always been, the author of your sacred becoming. And that door you've been waiting to open? Maybe it was always waiting on you. On your decision to believe again. To try again. To soften. To say yes when fear whispered no. So let's take this moment to seal the energy we've moved through today with a simple but powerful invitation. If your spirit feels aligned, I want you to comment below right now with the words, I am ready to walk through my destiny door. Not just for engagement, not just for ritual, but as a declaration. To yourself. To the universe. To every version of you that once doubted this moment would ever come. And if this reading resonated with your heart, I would be deeply honored if you would like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who may need this message today. That one act of sharing could be the key that unlocks healing for someone else's journey. Libra, your life is not behind you. It is being rewritten right now by every conscious choice you make to rise. The abundance that's coming your way is not a coincidence. The new connection, the breakthrough, the long-delayed reward. They are all pieces of a divine promise finally returning to you. And as always, from my heart to yours, thank you for trusting me, for being part of this growing soul family here at Zodiac Whisper Tarot. Your presence, your energy, your light, it matters more than you know. And I pray that as you leave this reading, you carry with you not only hope, but action. Not only insight, but embodiment. Not only vision, but movement. May you live in the light. May you listen deeply to the whispers of your soul. Because in that sacred stillness, the miracle is already waiting.